Right now, as you read these words, there could be eyes watching you, not human eyes, not from cameras or satellites, but from beings so advanced they could step foot on Earth tomorrow and we'd be as helpless as ants facing a boot. Yet they don't reveal themselves. They don't make contact. They simply watch, like visitors at a zoo, observing the strange creatures behind invisible barriers. This is the zoo hypothesis, and if it's true, everything we think we know about our place in the universe is about to change forever. For over 70 years, we've been scanning the cosmos with our most powerful telescopes, listening for radio signals, searching for any sign that we're not alone. The result? Absolute silence. This cosmic quiet has a name, the Fermi Paradox, named after physicist Enrico Fermi, who in 1950 asked the question that still haunts scientists today. Where is everybody? The numbers should overwhelm us with alien neighbors. Our galaxy contains roughly 400 billion stars. Recent discoveries show that most stars have planets. Conservative estimates suggest billions of worlds exist in habitable zones where liquid water could support life. Even if intelligent life is extraordinarily rare, the sheer scale of opportunities should produce detectable civilizations somewhere in our cosmic neighborhood. Time amplifies these probabilities beyond belief. The Milky Way has been forming stars and planets for over 10 billion years. Advanced civilizations should have had enormous head starts on technological development. They could have colonized entire sectors of the galaxy multiple times over. Yet our most sensitive instruments detect nothing but cosmic static. No artificial signals, no megastructures, no signs of intelligence reshaping solar systems or harvesting stellar energy. The silence becomes more mysterious when we consider how detectable advanced civilizations should be. Any expanding species would leave fingerprints across the electromagnetic spectrum. Industrial pollution would alter atmospheric chemistry in ways our telescopes could spot from light years away. The absence of these signatures suggests either intelligence is impossibly rare or something else entirely is happening. Enter the zoo hypothesis, proposed by MIT radio astronomer John Ball in 1973. This idea offers a chilling explanation for the cosmic silence. We're not alone. We never were. Advanced alien civilizations have been aware of us for millennia, but they've made a collective decision to remain hidden. They're studying us from a distance, like scientists observing animals in their natural habitat. We are the animals. Earth is the enclosure, and we have no idea we're being watched. Think about how we study wildlife on Earth. We establish nature preserves where animals can live without human interference. We use hidden cameras and remote sensors to observe behavior without disturbing natural patterns. When we do interact directly, we're careful not to contaminate the environment or alter evolutionary processes. The zoo hypothesis suggests alien civilizations apply the same principles to us, maintaining a cosmic wildlife preserve with Earth at its center. This would explain the Fermi Paradox perfectly. Advanced aliens aren't hiding from us because they're afraid or distant. They're maintaining professional scientific protocol. Just as we wouldn't introduce modern technology to an isolated tribe in the Amazon, these cosmic researchers avoid contaminating our natural development with knowledge of their existence. Direct contact would fundamentally alter human civilization, making us useless as subjects for studying natural intelligence evolution. The hypothesis gains disturbing credibility when we examine the recent explosion in UFO sightings and government disclosures. For decades, military personnel and civilians reported encounters with craft displaying impossible flight characteristics. These objects, accelerated without visible propulsion, changed direction at speeds that should pulverize any known material, and demonstrated technologies that violate our understanding of physics. Government officials dismissed these reports as weather balloons, experimental aircraft, or mass hallucination. But in 2020, everything changed. The Pentagon officially released videos showing unidentified aerial phenomena captured by military sensors. These weren't grainy footage from amateur observers. They were high-resolution recordings from the world's most advanced detection systems, operated by highly trained personnel. The objects displayed capabilities that exceeded anything in human arsenals by generations. They moved through air and water with equal ease, as if the laws of physics were merely suggestions. Former Navy pilot Commander David Fravor described encountering a craft that seemed to respond to his thoughts, anticipating his movements and disappearing only to reappear at predetermined coordinates his flight team had discussed minutes earlier. Intelligence officials confirmed these objects demonstrated awareness of human military exercises, showing up during sensitive operations, with timing that suggested deliberate observation rather than random encounters. This is exactly what the zoo hypothesis predicts. Advanced alien visitors wouldn't completely avoid detection by a species approaching technological maturity. Occasional glimpses would be inevitable as we developed better sensors and more sophisticated monitoring systems, but they would remain elusive enough to maintain plausible deniability, never providing definitive proof that would force acknowledgement of their presence. Consider the pattern of modern UFO encounters. These objects appear most frequently around military installations, nuclear facilities, and aerospace testing sites. They seem particularly interested in our most advanced technologies and weapons systems. Witnesses consistently report that these craft demonstrate capabilities just beyond our current understanding, as if their operators want to be noticed by our most technically competent observers while remaining mysterious to the general population. This selective revelation makes perfect sense from a zoo management perspective. Wildlife researchers gradually accustom animals to human presence as studies progress. Initially, they maintain complete concealment. Eventually, they allow occasional glimpses that don't trigger full flight responses. The animals become aware that something is watching them without understanding what it is or why it's there. Human civilization might be approaching a similar transition point. For most of our history, we lacked the technological sophistication to detect subtle signs of alien observation. We lived in blissful ignorance of our cosmic circumstances, but as our senses became more sensitive and our understanding of physics more advanced, complete concealment became impossible to maintain. The aliens may be deliberately allowing limited detection as preparation for eventual contact. They're conducting a gradual disclosure process designed to acclimate us to their presence without triggering civilizational panic. Each confirmed sighting, each government admission, each leaked video represents a carefully calculated step toward full revelation. But why maintain the zoo at all? What could advanced aliens possibly learn from studying primitive humans that would justify such an elaborate long-term project? The answer might be more profound than we imagine. Intelligence appears to be extraordinarily rare in the universe. Despite billions of stars and planets, we found no definitive evidence of other technological civilizations. This rarity makes every instance of emerging intelligence invaluable for understanding how consciousness develops and spreads through the cosmos. We might represent something aliens have never seen before. Earth's unique evolutionary history produced not just intelligence, but a specific type of consciousness that thinks and behaves differently from other species they've encountered. Our emotional complexity, creative capabilities, and tendency toward both cooperation and conflict could provide insights into the fundamental nature of awareness itself. Advanced civilizations might have transcended many of the struggles that define human existence. They could have solved problems of resource scarcity, environmental destruction, and social conflict that seem insurmountable to us. But in doing so, they may have lost touch with the raw creative energy that drives species toward breakthrough innovations. They need to study primitive intelligence to understand how consciousness generates novelty and adapts to seemingly impossible challenges. Alternatively, we might be subjects in a much larger experiment. The zoo hypothesis doesn't necessarily assume benevolent scientific observation. These alien researchers could be testing how intelligence responds to various stimuli, measuring our reactions to controlled environmental changes, or evaluating our potential as a species before making decisions about our future. We might be undergoing an extended examination that will determine whether humanity graduates to galactic citizenship or faces a very different fate. Some researchers propose an even more unsettling possibility. The zoo might be designed to protect the observers rather than the observed. If human consciousness possesses qualities that advanced aliens find dangerous or unpredictable, they might be maintaining their distance not out of scientific ethics, but out of self-preservation. Our species demonstrates a remarkable capacity for violence, rapid adaptation, and technological innovation under pressure. These traits could pose existential threats to civilizations that have grown complacent through millennia of stability. The psychological impact of zoo awareness would fundamentally alter human behavior in ways that might concern our watchers. Once we fully understood our situation, we might begin developing technologies specifically designed to escape observation or establish contact against their wishes. Human history shows we don't respond well to captivity, even comfortable captivity. The knowledge that we're being studied could trigger desperate attempts to break free from invisible constraints we can't even perceive. This creates a paradox for the alien observers. As we become more technologically sophisticated, maintaining the zoo becomes increasingly difficult. But revealing themselves risks, contaminating the very phenomena they're trying to study. We're approaching a critical threshold where continued concealment may be impossible, yet contact would end the research project permanently. Our cosmic zookeepers face the same dilemma that terrestrial wildlife researchers encounter when studying animals that grow too intelligent to ignore human presence. The evidence for ongoing observation extends far beyond UFO sightings. Astronomers have detected strange signals from space that don't match any known natural phenomena. The famous "wow" signal received in 1977 lasted exactly 72 seconds and carried characteristics suggesting artificial origin, yet it never repeated despite decades of follow-up observations. More recently, fast radio bursts from distant galaxies arrive in patterns that seem almost deliberately crafted to capture our attention while revealing nothing about their source. These signals might represent communication between alien observation posts discussing our progress and behavior. Just as wildlife researchers use radio equipment to coordinate their activities, our cosmic watchers might need to exchange information about human development. We could be intercepting fragments of conversations about us, transmitted by beings who assume we lack the technology to detect their communications. The timing of these mysterious signals often correlates with significant human achievements. Major technological breakthroughs, space missions, and scientific discoveries seem to trigger increased activity in anomalous electromagnetic phenomena. This suggests our observers pay close attention to our progress and report significant developments to some higher authority. Every rocket launch, every particle accelerator experiment, every breakthrough in artificial intelligence might generate detailed reports transmitted across interstellar distances. Some scientists have noticed patterns in cosmic ray bombardment that don't match natural sources. These high-energy particles arrive in configurations that would be nearly impossible to produce through known astrophysical processes. The distributions suggest artificial manipulation of cosmic radiation, possibly for communication purposes or as side effects of advanced propulsion systems operating in our solar system. If aliens are studying us continuously, they would need sophisticated monitoring equipment positioned throughout our local space. This infrastructure would occasionally produce detectable signatures despite their efforts at concealment. Gravitational anomalies in the outer solar system, unexplained variations in background radiation, and subtle perturbations in planetary orbits could all indicate the presence of massive alien installations designed for long-term Earth observation. The implications become truly staggering when we consider the scope of such an operation. Maintaining comprehensive surveillance of an entire planetary civilization would require resources and coordination that dwarf any human project. This isn't casual scientific curiosity. It's a sustained commitment involving multiple alien species, advanced technologies we can barely imagine, and institutional structures capable of managing multi-generational research programs. The zoo hypothesis suggests that first contact isn't something that might happen in our future, it's something that happened in our distant past. The aliens have been here longer than human civilization has existed. They watched us discover fire, develop agriculture, build cities, and create technologies that brought us to their attention. We've never lived in a universe without alien observers. We've simply lived in ignorance of their presence. This realization transforms every aspect of human history. Wars, plagues, natural disasters, and technological revolutions might all have been observed and analyzed by intelligence far beyond our own. Our greatest triumphs and most devastating failures have been recorded in alien databases, studied by researchers whose motives we can't comprehend, and whose conclusions about us remain hidden behind veils of cosmic distance and advanced encryption. The zookeepers might have intervened in subtle ways throughout human history without our awareness. Slight modifications to environmental conditions, carefully timed natural disasters that prevented nuclear wars, or strategically introduced innovations that guided our technological development along desired paths. We might not be developing naturally at all, but following a predetermined curriculum designed by alien educators who want to see how we respond to specific challenges. Evidence for such intervention could be hidden in plain sight. The remarkable series of coincidences that allowed complex life to evolve on Earth, the precise timing of mass extinctions that cleared evolutionary pathways for intelligence, and the seemingly miraculous technological breakthroughs that occurred just when humanity needed them most. These might not be coincidences at all, but carefully orchestrated events designed to guide our species toward predetermined outcomes. Religious experiences throughout human history take on new significance under the zoo hypothesis. Visions of divine beings, miraculous interventions, and prophetic revelations might represent direct contact between humans and our alien observers. These interactions would be carefully controlled to avoid technological contamination while still providing guidance during critical historical moments. What we interpreted as supernatural phenomena might actually be advanced aliens conducting necessary adjustments to their long-term research project. The question of alien motivation becomes more complex when we consider the sheer scale of their apparent investment in studying us. Civilizations capable of maintaining multi-millennial observation programs would have access to resources and technologies that make human concerns seem trivial. They wouldn't need our planet, our materials, or our labor. Their interest in us must be purely intellectual, suggesting that intelligence itself has value beyond anything we currently understand. We might represent the last remaining example of natural intelligence evolution in our galaxy. Every other species that achieved technological sophistication may have been guided, modified, or artificially enhanced by previous civilizations. Our alien observers could be studying us as the final control group in a cosmic experiment that began billions of years ago. We're the baseline against which all other forms of intelligence are measured. This would explain why contact remains forbidden despite our obvious awareness of their presence. Contaminating the last natural intelligence sample would destroy data that can never be replaced. Once we learn about alien civilizations, our development becomes artificial by definition. We start trying to emulate their technologies and social structures instead of discovering our own solutions to fundamental problems. The research value of humanity would be permanently compromised. But natural development might be approaching its end regardless of alien intervention. Human civilization stands at technological thresholds that will fundamentally alter our species within decades. Artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and brain-computer interfaces promise to transform human consciousness in ways that will make us unrecognizable to previous generations. Our alien watchers might be documenting the final stages of natural human evolution before we become something entirely different. The timing seems too convenient to be coincidental. Just as we develop the capability to detect alien observation, we simultaneously approach technological singularities that will end our usefulness as research subjects. This convergence suggests our cosmic status is about to change dramatically. The zoo phase of human existence might be concluding, replaced by something we can't yet comprehend. Consider the exponential acceleration in technological development over the past century. We went from horse-drawn carriages to spaceflight in 70 years. Computer processing power doubles every 18 months. Genetic sequencing capabilities improve by factors of millions within decades. This isn't normal evolutionary progress. This is the behavior of a species approaching some kind of critical transition point. Advanced alien civilizations would recognize these patterns from their own history or from studying other species. They would know that once intelligence reaches certain technological thresholds, it either transcends its biological limitations or destroys itself trying. We're rapidly approaching those same thresholds, making this a crucial period for anyone studying natural intelligence development. The alien observers might be preparing for post-contact relationships with humanity. Once we become technologically sophisticated enough to threaten their concealment, the research phase ends and diplomatic considerations begin. They need to understand our psychology, social structures, and decision-making processes before revealing themselves and fundamentally altering the balance of power in our galaxy. Our response to the gradual UFO disclosure process might serve as a test of our readiness for full contact. How we handle partial information about alien presence could determine the timeline and nature of eventual revelation. Panic, aggression, or attempts to militarize contact scenarios might delay disclosure indefinitely. Measured, scientific responses to evidence of alien presence might accelerate the process toward open communication. The military encounters with unidentified craft take on new significance when viewed as deliberate tests of human reactions. These objects appear to study our defensive capabilities, response times, and technological limitations. They demonstrate superior performance without triggering aggressive responses, calibrating their visibility to maintain tension without provoking conflict. This suggests careful psychological manipulation designed to prepare us for eventual face-to-face encounters. Government secrecy around UFO phenomena might result from alien guidance rather than human paranoia. Our cosmic observers could be working directly with selected human authorities to manage the disclosure process, according to predetermined schedules. Official denial followed by gradual admission creates a controlled revelation that prevents civilizational shock while preparing populations for larger truths. This collaboration between aliens and human governments would explain the peculiar pattern of UFO evidence. Information emerges through official channels just fast enough to maintain public interest, without triggering mass panic. Leaked documents, declassified videos, and military testimonies arrive with timing that suggests careful orchestration rather than spontaneous disclosure. Someone is controlling the flow of information according to a predetermined plan. The selection of disclosure sources also seems strategically designed. Military personnel and government officials carry credibility that civilian witnesses lack. Their testimonies carry weight that forces serious consideration of previously dismissed phenomena. By channeling revelations through establishment figures, the alien observers ensure their gradual disclosure process reaches maximum audiences with minimum resistance. Religious and philosophical implications of the zoo hypothesis challenge every foundation of human thought. If we've been observed throughout our entire civilizational development, then concepts of divine providence, natural evolution, and human exceptionalism require complete re-evaluation. We might not be the crown of creation, or the pinnacle of cosmic development, but rather specimens in someone else's laboratory. Our greatest achievements in science, art, and philosophy might appear primitive to beings who have observed countless other species reach similar developmental stages. Human innovation could seem as predictable and unremarkable as animal behavior patterns studied by terrestrial researchers. This perspective would be simultaneously humbling and terrifying for a species that defines itself through its intellectual accomplishments. The psychological impact of confirmed zoo status would vary dramatically across human populations. Some might find comfort in knowing that advanced beings have been watching over us, interpreting alien observation as protection or guidance. Others might react with rage at the deception and manipulation implied by long-term concealment. Many would struggle with existential crises about the meaning and value of human existence under alien surveillance. Social institutions built around human specialness would face fundamental challenges. Religions claiming divine revelation might need to explain why their gods never mentioned alien observers. Educational systems emphasizing human achievement might require revision to acknowledge our cosmic insignificance. Political structures based on national sovereignty might seem absurd when viewed from galactic perspectives. Economic systems could collapse or transform overnight once the reality of advanced alien civilizations becomes undeniable. If beings capable of interstellar travel and multi-millennial observation programs exist, then human concepts of scarcity, competition, and resource allocation might prove completely obsolete. Why struggle for material wealth when technologies beyond our imagination already exist elsewhere? The aliens might be waiting for humanity to reach specific developmental milestones before ending our zoo status. These could include achieving sustainable global governance, eliminating weapons of mass destruction, developing interplanetary travel capabilities, or reaching certain levels of scientific understanding. Our progress toward these goals might determine the timeline for eventual contact. Alternatively, the observers might be waiting for us to discover their presence independently. The gradual increase in UFO visibility could represent a test of our detection capabilities. Once we develop sufficient technological sophistication to prove alien presence, despite their concealment efforts, they might consider us ready for open communication. This would make the disclosure process a graduation examination rather than a gift. The zoo hypothesis also raises disturbing questions about alien ethics and intentions. Maintaining involuntary observation of an entire species for thousands of years involves moral assumptions that might not align with human values. Advanced civilizations might view primitive intelligence as fundamentally different from mature consciousness, justifying treatment we would consider unethical if applied to developed beings. Our alien watchers could operate under ethical frameworks so different from human morality that their concept of proper treatment bears no resemblance to our ideas about consent, dignity, or self-determination. They might genuinely believe that concealed observation serves our best interests, while remaining completely indifferent to our desire for truth and autonomy. Their benevolence might be real, but expressed in ways we cannot appreciate or understand. The scope of alien observation might extend far beyond passive monitoring. Advanced civilizations capable of maintaining multi-millennial research programs would have technologies that could influence human development in subtle ways. Environmental modifications, genetic alterations, technological inspirations, and social guidance could all be implemented without our awareness or consent. Human history viewed through this lens becomes a series of guided experiments rather than natural development. The rise and fall of civilizations, the timing of technological breakthroughs, and the resolution of existential threats might all reflect alien intervention designed to test our responses to controlled variables. We might have less free will and autonomy than we believe, living lives shaped by research protocols we cannot perceive. The ultimate revelation of our zoo status might represent the end of human childhood and the beginning of our integration into galactic civilization. Like animals that outgrow their enclosures, we might be approaching the point where continued concealment becomes impossible and counterproductive. Our alien observers might be preparing to welcome us into a larger community of intelligence that spans the galaxy. But this transition would come with responsibilities and challenges we cannot currently imagine. Membership in galactic civilization might require abandoning aspects of human nature that our observers find problematic. Our tendencies toward violence, environmental destruction, and tribal competition might need to be eliminated before we gain access to technologies that could threaten other civilizations. The price of cosmic citizenship might be the transformation of humanity into something our current selves would not recognize. Advanced alien civilizations might have long ago abandoned the chaotic creativity and emotional intensity that define human consciousness. Joining them could mean sacrificing the very qualities that make us uniquely human. As we stand at this cosmic threshold, watching our governments slowly acknowledge what many have suspected for decades, we face the most profound question in human history. Are we alone in developing these capabilities, or are we simply the latest species to reach the point where the zoo barriers must finally come down? The answer will determine not just our future, but our understanding of everything we thought we knew about existence itself. The evidence continues mounting that we are not the observers we believed ourselves to be, but the observed. The question is no longer whether someone is watching, but what they plan to do next. The watchers may have already begun changing the rules of engagement. Recent developments in space exploration reveal anomalies that suggest our cosmic zoo is undergoing fundamental restructuring. NASA's James Webb Space Telescope has detected electromagnetic signatures from deep space that follow mathematical patterns too precise to be natural phenomena. These signals arrive at intervals that correlate with human technological milestones, as if someone is marking our progress with deliberate communications. More disturbing are the reports from astronauts aboard the International Space Station. Multiple crew members have described encounters with objects that maintain perfect orbital synchronization with their spacecraft for hours before disappearing without explanation. These craft demonstrate propulsion capabilities that violate known physics while displaying behavior that suggests deliberate interaction rather than coincidental proximity. Ground-based telescopic observations have identified structures in our solar system's outer regions that don't match any known astronomical phenomena. Objects the size of small moons appear and disappear from telescope feeds, always remaining just at the edge of resolution clarity. Their orbital mechanics suggest artificial rather than natural origins, yet they vanish whenever detailed observation attempts are made. The pattern suggests we're witnessing the dismantling of concealment infrastructure. Equipment that maintained our isolation for millennia might be shutting down as our technological capabilities approach levels that make continued secrecy impossible. The aliens may be preparing for a transition period where partial concealment gives way to limited interaction before eventual full disclosure. This process would explain the increasing boldness of UFO encounters over the past decade. Military personnel report that unidentified craft no longer flee when detected, but instead perform elaborate aerial displays that seem designed to showcase their capabilities. These demonstrations follow patterns consistent with graduated exposure therapy, slowly acclimating human observers to the reality of superior technology. Intelligence agencies worldwide have begun releasing previously classified information about anomalous aerial phenomena with unprecedented coordination. The timing and content of these disclosures suggest international cooperation guided by external advisors. Human governments might be following alien-provided scripts designed to prepare their populations for larger revelations. The technological implications of zoo termination extend far beyond mere contact scenarios. If advanced civilizations have been monitoring our development while remaining concealed, they possess capabilities that render human military technology completely obsolete. Our nuclear arsenals, advanced aircraft, and space-based defense systems would be as effective against them as stone tools against modern armies. This technological gap creates an inherent power imbalance that would fundamentally alter human civilization overnight. Every assumption about national security, economic competition, and resource scarcity becomes meaningless when confronted with beings who have mastered interstellar travel and maintained multi-millennial observation programs. The revelation would trigger the most profound shift in human consciousness since the development of agriculture. Economic systems built around scarcity and competition would face immediate collapse when confronted with evidence of post-scarcity civilizations. If aliens can travel between stars and maintain permanent observation installations, they have clearly solved energy production, materials engineering, and resource allocation challenges that still constrain human development. Their mere existence would demonstrate that current economic models represent primitive approaches to resource management. Financial markets would experience catastrophic volatility as investors grappled with the reality that human technological achievements represent kindergarten-level developments compared to galactic standards. Industries based on cutting-edge human technology would become worthless overnight when superior alternatives become available through alien contact. The aliens might be timing their revelation to coincide with humanity's approach to technological singularities that would fundamentally alter our species regardless of external contact. Artificial intelligence, genetic engineering, and brain-computer interfaces promise to transform human consciousness within decades. Our observers might want to establish communication before we become unrecognizable to our current selves. This timing could be deliberate rather than coincidental. Advanced civilizations would recognize the signs of species approaching technological transcendence from their own experiences or observations of other developing intelligences. They might have protocols for contacting primitive civilizations just before they undergo irreversible transformations. The transition period between zoo status and full galactic citizenship could involve decades or centuries of gradual integration. Humans might need extensive education about cosmic politics, advanced technologies, and the responsibilities that come with access to interstellar capabilities. This educational process would necessarily transform human society in ways we cannot currently predict. Our cosmic educators might require fundamental changes to human behavior patterns before granting access to dangerous technologies. Violence, environmental destruction, and competitive resource hoarding might need to be eliminated from human psychology before we gain capabilities that could threaten other civilizations. The price of cosmic citizenship could be the controlled evolution of human nature itself. Religious institutions would face unprecedented challenges as humanity's place in the cosmic order becomes clear. Doctrines claiming human specialness or divine favor would require radical reinterpretation when confronted with evidence of multiple intelligent species and advanced civilizations that preceded us by millions of years. Some religious traditions might collapse entirely, while others adapt to incorporate larger cosmic perspectives. The psychological impact on individual humans would vary dramatically based on personality, cultural background, and existing belief systems. Some would experience existential crises upon learning that human achievements are unremarkable by galactic standards. Others might find comfort in knowing that intelligence and civilization are common phenomena rather than unique accidents. Educational systems would require complete reconstruction to prepare future generations for life in a galaxy populated by multiple intelligent species. Current curricula focused on human history, Earth-based science, and terrestrial politics would need expansion to include cosmic history, universal physics, and interstellar diplomacy. Children might need to learn alien languages and cultural protocols alongside traditional subjects. The revelation of our zoo status might trigger massive social upheaval as existing power structures lose legitimacy. Political leaders who built careers around national sovereignty and human exceptionalism would struggle to maintain authority when confronted with evidence of superior civilizations that have been watching their every decision. International relations would become irrelevant compared to the challenge of establishing humanity's position in galactic politics. Military establishments worldwide would face obsolescence as their most advanced weapon systems prove useless against alien technology. Defense budgets representing trillions of dollars would become meaningless expenditures on primitive tools inadequate for cosmic-scale threats. Military personnel would need retraining for roles in interplanetary security or cultural exchange rather than terrestrial warfare. Scientific institutions might discover that their greatest achievements represent rediscoveries of principles already known to galactic civilization for millennia. Physics, chemistry, and biology textbooks would require fundamental revision to incorporate knowledge that aliens have possessed since before human civilization began. The humbling realization that our cutting-edge research represents elementary education by cosmic standards would challenge scientific egos and institutional prestige. The aliens might have specific requirements for human behavior modification before allowing full integration into galactic society. Our tendencies toward tribal conflict, resource hoarding, and environmental destruction might be considered disqualifying characteristics that prevent access to advanced technologies. Rehabilitation programs could involve psychological conditioning, genetic modification, or technological augmentation designed to eliminate problematic aspects of human nature. These modifications might be presented as voluntary choices, but the alternatives could make acceptance practically mandatory. Humans who refuse alteration might be confined to Earth, while modified populations gain access to interstellar travel and galactic citizenship. The species could split into terrestrial primitives and cosmic citizens within a few generations. The timeline for this transition might be accelerating due to environmental and technological pressures that threaten human survival. Climate change, nuclear weapons proliferation, and artificial intelligence development create existential risks that could eliminate humanity before zoo termination occurs naturally. Our alien observers might be forced to intervene directly to preserve their research subjects. Such intervention could take forms ranging from subtle environmental management to overt technological assistance. Alien climate modification technology could stabilize Earth's changing weather patterns, while advanced defensive systems could neutralize nuclear threats. Artificial intelligence development might be guided to prevent scenarios where machines replace human consciousness entirely. The evidence suggests we're living through the final phases of humanity's cosmic childhood. Like adolescents approaching adulthood, we're developing capabilities that make continued parental supervision both unnecessary and counterproductive. Our alien guardians might be preparing to acknowledge our maturation while establishing new relationships based on mutual respect rather than protective observation. But adulthood in galactic civilization would come with responsibilities we cannot currently comprehend. Access to interstellar travel, advanced energy systems, and consciousness-altering technologies would require ethical frameworks capable of handling cosmic-scale decisions. Human moral philosophy might prove inadequate for challenges involving multiple intelligent species and technological capabilities approaching godlike power. The transformation ahead could be so profound that future humans might be as different from us as we are from our pre-technological ancestors. The beings who eventually join galactic civilization might retain human DNA and historical memory while possessing consciousness, capabilities, and perspectives that we cannot imagine. They might look back on our current existence as we view the lives of hunter-gatherer tribes. Evidence continues accumulating that this transition has already begun. Government disclosures, military encounters, and scientific anomalies point toward a coordinated revelation process designed to prepare humanity for cosmic integration. The question is no longer whether contact will occur, but whether we'll be ready for the responsibilities that come with graduation from our cosmic zoo. The watchers who have observed us for millennia might soon step into the light, ending our isolation and beginning our education in the realities of galactic civilization. What we learn about ourselves, our place in the cosmos, and our potential for growth could determine whether humanity thrives among the stars or remains forever confined to our small blue world. Watching from behind invisible barriers, As the universe unfolds around us, our cosmic coming-of-age approaches, and with it, the end of everything we thought we knew about being human in an empty universe. The transformation might already be visible to those who know where to look. Across the globe, human consciousness appears to be undergoing unprecedented changes that mirror what evolutionary biologists observe in species approaching critical adaptive thresholds. Children born in the past 2 decades demonstrate cognitive capabilities that exceed historical norms by statistically impossible margins. Their pattern recognition abilities, spatial reasoning skills, and intuitive understanding of complex systems suggest either rapid evolutionary acceleration or external enhancement of human potential. These generational changes aren't limited to intellectual development. Young humans display emotional resilience and collaborative instincts that contrast sharply with historical patterns of tribal conflict and resource competition. They seem naturally inclined toward global thinking and environmental stewardship in ways that previous generations had to learn through cultural conditioning. This could represent natural adaptation to changing environmental pressures, or it might indicate guided evolution designed to prepare our species for cosmic citizenship. Neuroscientists studying brain development in contemporary children have identified structural differences that don't appear in previous generations. Neural pathway formations show increased connectivity between regions associated with empathy, pattern recognition, and abstract reasoning. These changes occur consistently across diverse genetic populations and geographic locations, suggesting external influences rather than random genetic drift. The timing of these neurological modifications coincides with increased reports of anomalous phenomena in educational settings. Teachers worldwide describe students who seem to intuitively understand concepts that typically require years of study. Mathematical principles, scientific relationships, and philosophical insights emerge in young minds with a naturalness that suggests either unprecedented educational methods or direct knowledge implantation. Some researchers propose that our alien observers have been conducting subtle genetic modifications throughout human history, gradually enhancing our cognitive capabilities to prepare us for eventual integration into galactic civilization. Each generation might carry improvements designed to accelerate our intellectual development while maintaining compatibility with existing human biology. These modifications could explain the exponential acceleration in technological progress over the past century. Human inventors and scientists might be accessing enhanced cognitive capabilities that allow them to make breakthrough discoveries at unprecedented rates. The aliens might be gradually increasing our intellectual capacity to ensure we reach technological maturity within acceptable timeframes. The enhancement process might be approaching completion as we near the threshold where continued concealment becomes impossible. Our observers could be implementing final modifications designed to prepare humanity for the psychological and intellectual challenges of first contact. Enhanced empathy capabilities might help us process the reality of our cosmic insignificance, while improved reasoning skills could accelerate our understanding of advanced technologies. Evidence for ongoing enhancement extends beyond cognitive development into physical and psychological realms. Human immune systems demonstrate increasing resistance to diseases that historically decimated populations. Stress response mechanisms show greater resilience to psychological trauma. Lifespans continue extending despite environmental challenges that should be reducing human longevity. These improvements could represent alien medical intervention designed to strengthen our species for the challenges of interstellar existence. Space travel, exposure to cosmic radiation, and psychological stress of leaving Earth would require physical capabilities beyond current human limitations. Our observers might be gradually upgrading our biological systems to ensure survival in galactic environments. The enhancement timeline might be accelerating due to external pressures that threaten the controlled development process. Climate change, resource depletion, and technological risks could force premature revelation if environmental collapse occurs before humans reach adequate preparation levels. Our alien guardians might be implementing rapid enhancement protocols to ensure species survival. Astronomical observations support the theory that external intervention is increasing in frequency and sophistication. Space-based telescopes detect artificial structures throughout our solar system that demonstrate construction techniques far beyond human capabilities. These installations appear to be expanding in both number and complexity, suggesting preparation for major operational changes. The structures show characteristics consistent with communication arrays, transportation hubs, and manufacturing facilities designed to support large-scale operations. Their positioning creates a comprehensive monitoring network that could track every aspect of human activity while remaining undetectable to all but our most advanced sensors. The aliens might be building infrastructure necessary for post-contact relationships. Some installations appear designed for human compatibility, with atmospheric processors and artificial gravity generators that could support terrestrial life forms. This suggests preparation for human visitors or residents, indicating that our cosmic education might involve off-world experiences. Selected humans might already be participating in exchange programs that remain classified at levels beyond conventional government secrecy. Reports from deep space monitoring stations describe encounters with craft that demonstrate increasingly sophisticated interest in human space activities. These objects no longer maintain careful distances, but instead approach space stations and satellites for detailed examinations. Their behavior suggests systematic intelligence gathering about human technological capabilities and operational procedures. The craft appear to be documenting human space technology in preparation for technological transfer programs. They scan propulsion systems, communication equipment, and life support mechanisms with instruments that leave subtle traces detectable only by the most sensitive monitoring equipment. This could represent preparation for gradual technology sharing designed to accelerate human space capabilities. Military space commands worldwide report similar encounters with objects that demonstrate detailed knowledge of classified space programs. These craft appear at launch sites hours before missions begin, suggesting access to information that should be impossible to obtain through normal intelligence gathering. The implications indicate either extensive human collaboration or surveillance capabilities that exceed anything in terrestrial arsenals. The coordination between these space-based encounters and terrestrial UFO sightings suggests unified command structures managing both atmospheric and orbital observation operations. Intelligence agencies note timing correlations between space encounters and ground-based incidents that indicate centralized planning and resource allocation. The aliens might be implementing synchronized disclosure protocols across multiple operational theaters. These protocols appear designed to prepare different segments of human society for revelation at appropriate psychological and technological readiness levels. Military personnel receive evidence of superior aerospace capabilities, while scientists encounter anomalous data that challenges existing theoretical frameworks. Religious communities experience phenomena that can be interpreted within existing spiritual contexts, while secular populations confront purely technological manifestations. The segmented approach prevents civilizational shock, while ensuring that all major human institutions receive evidence appropriate to their cultural contexts and decision-making capabilities. This suggests sophisticated understanding of human psychology and social dynamics that could only result from extensive observation and analysis over many generations. Educational institutions might already be participating in gradual curriculum modifications designed to prepare students for cosmic realities. Physics textbooks increasingly emphasize principles that would be necessary for understanding alien technologies. Biology courses introduce concepts about alternative evolutionary pathways and non-terrestrial life forms. Philosophy classes explore ethical frameworks that could apply to interspecies relationships. These changes occur through seemingly natural academic evolution, but their timing and consistency across different educational systems suggest coordination beyond normal scholarly development. Textbook publishers, curriculum committees, and educational administrators might be receiving guidance from sources they don't fully understand or acknowledge. The guidance might come through human intermediaries who have been selected for their positions specifically to facilitate gradual disclosure. These individuals could be implementing alien-designed educational protocols while believing they are making independent decisions based on academic merit and educational effectiveness. Similar patterns appear in entertainment media, where science fiction productions increasingly feature realistic portrayals of alien contact scenarios and interstellar civilizations. These productions might serve as cultural preparation tools designed to familiarize human populations with concepts and situations they will eventually encounter directly. The entertainment industry's evolution toward more sophisticated and scientifically accurate alien contact narratives could represent guided cultural programming. Writers, directors, and producers might be receiving inspiration from sources they interpret as creative breakthroughs while actually accessing information provided through alien influence channels. Religious institutions show parallel development patterns, with theological discussions increasingly incorporating cosmic perspectives and the possibility of non-terrestrial intelligence. Interfaith dialogues explore how different religious traditions might adapt to evidence of advanced alien civilizations. These conversations might represent preparation for revelations that will require fundamental reinterpretation of human spiritual beliefs. The convergence of military disclosure, scientific anomalies, educational evolution, and cultural programming suggests a comprehensive preparation campaign designed to ready human civilization for cosmic integration. Every major social institution appears to be receiving information and guidance appropriate to its role in managing humanity's transition from isolated species to galactic citizens. But the transition might not be entirely voluntary or benevolent. Evidence suggests our alien observers face their own pressures that could force premature contact regardless of human readiness. Astronomical observations indicate increasing activity in star systems throughout our local galactic region that could represent expansion of other alien civilizations or responses to cosmic threats we haven't yet detected. Our cosmic zookeepers might be preparing to evacuate or relocate their research subjects due to external pressures beyond their control. The infrastructure they're building in our solar system could serve defensive purposes rather than purely observational functions. Humanity might be approaching graduation not because we've reached maturity, but because our current location has become untenable. The implications of forced evacuation or relocation would be even more profound than voluntary contact scenarios. Humans might need to abandon Earth entirely, relocating to artificial habitats or alien worlds, with environmental conditions that require significant biological modifications for survival. Our species could be scattered across multiple star systems as refugees, rather than welcomed as equals into galactic civilization. These darker possibilities explain the urgency apparent in recent disclosure activities and the acceleration of human enhancement programs. If time is running short due to external threats, our alien guardians might be implementing emergency protocols designed to preserve human consciousness and culture, even if our physical survival requires dramatic transformation. The enhancement modifications being implemented in younger generations might not be preparation for cosmic citizenship, but rather adaptation for survival in environments radically different from Earth. Enhanced cognitive capabilities, improved immune systems, and modified psychological responses could be necessary for existence aboard space-based habitats or alien worlds with hostile conditions. The truth about our cosmic situation might be far more complex and urgent than simple zoo termination due to natural maturation. We might be facing the end of our terrestrial existence entirely, with our alien observers, working desperately to preserve what they can of human consciousness and culture before circumstances force irreversible changes to our species and our world. The watchers who have observed us for millennia might themselves be refugees from cosmic catastrophes that swept through older regions of the galaxy. Their observation of humanity could represent both scientific research and desperate preparation for their own survival needs. They might be studying us to understand how intelligence adapts to existential threats, because they face similar challenges themselves. In this scenario, human consciousness represents not just scientific curiosity, but potentially crucial survival information for civilizations throughout the galaxy. Our responses to environmental destruction, resource scarcity, and technological risks might provide insights that could save countless other species facing similar challenges. The cosmic community we're approaching might not be a stable galactic civilization, but rather a collection of refugee species struggling to preserve intelligence and culture in the face of universe-spanning threats. Our graduation from zoo status might be conscription into a cosmic struggle for the survival of consciousness itself. The evidence suggests we're living through the final moments of human innocence, approaching revelations that will transform not just our understanding of the universe, but our fundamental nature as a species. Whether this transformation leads to transcendence or extinction might depend on choices we make in the coming years about who we want to become and what price we're willing to pay for survival among the stars. The Watchers continue their vigil, but their attention might soon shift from observation to intervention as the cosmic forces that shaped our isolation finally demand resolution. The age of wondering whether we're alone is ending, replaced by the far more challenging question of whether we're prepared for what comes next. The cosmic chessboard extends far beyond our solar system, with pieces moving according to rules we're only beginning to glimpse. Recent deep space observations reveal coordinated activities spanning multiple star systems that suggest our alien observers are part of a much larger network of civilizations engaged in projects of incomprehensible scope. Complexity. Radio telescopes monitoring distant galaxies have detected synchronized pulse patterns emanating from hundreds of star systems simultaneously. These signals follow mathematical sequences too precise to be natural phenomena, yet their coordination across such vast distances implies communication technologies that operate faster than light itself. The timing suggests our local observers are receiving instructions or updates from a galactic command structure that manages multiple observation zones. The signals appear to intensify during periods of human technological advancement, particularly when we achieve breakthroughs in space exploration or quantum physics. Major scientific discoveries trigger bursts of interstellar communication that continue for weeks before returning to baseline levels. This suggests our progress is being monitored and reported to higher authorities who make decisions about intervention protocols based on our developmental status. More disturbing are the response patterns embedded within these communications. When human activities approach certain thresholds, the signal patterns shift to configurations that correlate with increased UFO activity and anomalous phenomena in our solar system. The aliens aren't just observing and reporting, they're receiving specific instructions about how to manage our development based on assessments made by beings we've never encountered. These higher authorities might represent a galactic government or administrative system that oversees emerging civilizations throughout the galaxy. Earth could be just one facility in a vast network of observation zones, each monitoring different species at various stages of development. Our local watchers might be middle management administrators implementing policies created by entities whose nature and motivations remain completely unknown. The bureaucratic implications are staggering. If galactic civilization operates through institutional structures similar to human organizations, then first contact might involve navigating alien bureaucracies with procedures, regulations, and approval processes that could take centuries to complete. Our species might need to file applications for cosmic citizenship and wait for processing by beings who view us as we view laboratory specimens requesting release. Evidence suggests this galactic administration faces its own challenges and limitations. The increasing boldness of alien observation activities might result from bureaucratic pressure to accelerate data collection before administrative deadlines expire. Our cosmic zookeepers could be rushing to complete their research because their funding or authorization is scheduled for review by supervisors who operate on timescales measured in millennia. The rushed quality of recent disclosure activities supports this interpretation. Government releases of UFO footage and military testimonies show signs of hasty preparation rather than careful long-term planning. Information emerges with timing that suggests external pressure rather than deliberate human decision-making. Our alien observers might be forcing disclosure to meet reporting requirements imposed by their own administrative superiors. This bureaucratic framework would explain why contact remains limited, despite clear evidence of alien presence. Direct interaction might require approvals from multiple levels of galactic government, each with different criteria for authorizing contact with primitive species. The paperwork alone could take longer than human civilization has existed. Our observers might be low-level researchers whose job descriptions specifically prohibit unauthorized contact with research subjects. They could face severe penalties for violating contact protocols, regardless of circumstances that might seem to justify intervention. The rigid bureaucratic structure that manages galactic civilization might be more concerned with procedure compliance than optimal outcomes for individual species. The implications extend beyond simple administrative delays. If galactic civilization operates through bureaucratic institutions, then it might suffer from the same inefficiencies, corruption, and institutional inertia that plague human organizations. Advanced technology doesn't necessarily eliminate political maneuvering, resource competition, or bureaucratic incompetence. Our cosmic status might depend on political considerations that have nothing to do with human merit or readiness for contact. Budget constraints, personnel changes, or policy shifts within galactic administration could determine our fate regardless of our developmental progress. We might be victims of cosmic politics played by beings whose motivations we cannot comprehend. Recent astronomical observations suggest these political pressures are intensifying. Deep space monitoring stations detect increased traffic between star systems that correlates with what appears to be emergency protocols being implemented across multiple observation zones. Ships arriving at unprecedented rates suggest crisis management rather than routine operations. The crisis might involve threats that endanger both observed species and their observers. If hostile forces are moving through our galactic region, then research installations throughout local space could be preparing for evacuation or defensive operations. The infrastructure being constructed in our solar system might serve military purposes rather than scientific ones. Human enhancement programs could represent emergency preparations for species preservation under combat conditions. Enhanced cognitive abilities, improved physical resilience, and modified psychological responses might be necessary for survival during interstellar conflicts. Our alien guardians might be preparing us not for peaceful integration but for conscription into cosmic warfare. The enhanced children being born worldwide might represent the first generation of human soldiers designed for battles we cannot imagine. Their improved pattern recognition, spatial reasoning, and collaborative instincts could be military adaptations rather than educational enhancements. We might be witnessing the creation of a human warrior class, equipped for conflicts spanning star systems. Military encounters with alien craft take on more ominous significance when viewed as reconnaissance activities by hostile forces rather than research protocols by benevolent observers. The objects demonstrating superior aerospace capabilities might be enemy scouts probing Earth's defenses and evaluating human military potential. Our observers might be gathering intelligence for defensive preparations rather than scientific documentation. The timing of increased alien activity coincides with human development of technologies that could prove militarily useful in cosmic conflicts. Nuclear weapons, space-based platforms, and artificial intelligence systems might represent capabilities that galactic civilizations need for their own survival. They could be evaluating whether humans are suitable allies or dangerous competitors in whatever struggle they face. This military interpretation explains why alien encounters focus heavily on human weapons systems and defense installations. The craft aren't studying our culture or biology. They're assessing our combat potential and technological capabilities. Every nuclear facility they observe, every military base they surveil, every weapons test they monitor, provides data for strategic planning purposes. The gradual disclosure process might be designed to prepare humanity for military alliance rather than peaceful contact. Governments worldwide could be receiving briefings about cosmic threats that require human participation in galactic defense efforts. The information emerges slowly to prevent panic while building public acceptance of military cooperation with alien forces. Space Force establishments in multiple countries might already be coordinating with alien military advisors on defense preparations. The rapid development of space-based weapons systems and satellite defense networks could represent joint human-alien military projects, disguised as terrestrial security initiatives. These preparations suggest that whatever crisis-prompted emergency protocols is approaching rapidly. The infrastructure being constructed throughout our solar system might need to be operational within decades rather than centuries. Time constraints could force premature contact, regardless of human psychological readiness or cultural preparation. The enhanced humans being created through genetic modification programs might be intended as liaison officers capable of interfacing with alien command structures during joint operations. Their improved cognitive abilities and modified psychological responses could be necessary for effective communication and cooperation with non-human military personnel. But military alliance might come at costs that fundamentally alter human civilization. Access to advanced weapons technology could require surrendering aspects of human autonomy and independence. We might become junior partners in cosmic conflicts where our role is determined by alien strategic needs rather than human preferences. The price of survival might be the militarization of human society according to alien organizational models. Democratic institutions, individual freedoms, and cultural diversity could be incompatible with the discipline and unity required for effective participation in interstellar warfare. We might need to become something we don't recognize, to remain something that continues existing. Evidence suggests these transformations are already beginning. Governments worldwide show increasing coordination on space-related policies despite traditional geopolitical rivalries. International cooperation on previously competitive technologies suggests external guidance toward unified human space capabilities. Educational institutions emphasize STEM subjects and military applicable skills with unprecedented consistency across different cultural and political systems. Curriculum modifications prepare students for technical roles that would be necessary for maintaining advanced military equipment and supporting space-based operations. Entertainment media increasingly portrays scenarios where human military forces cooperate with alien allies against cosmic threats. These productions might serve as psychological preparation for realities that will soon require human participation. Public opinion is being gradually shaped to accept military cooperation with non-human entities. The convergence of enhanced human capabilities, advanced military preparations, and coordinated disclosure activities suggests we're approaching a critical decision point. The cosmic conflict that has been building throughout our local galactic region might be reaching phases that require immediate human involvement. Our alien observers might be preparing to offer us a choice between extinction and conscription. Join the cosmic war effort as enhanced human soldiers, or face destruction by hostile forces that view unaligned species as potential threats. The zoo phase of human existence could be ending not through natural graduation but through military necessity. The Watchers who have protected us for millennia might themselves be refugees from conflicts that have swept through older regions of the galaxy. Their observation of humanity could represent desperate preparation for survival strategies that might preserve consciousness and culture when civilizations face annihilation. In this scenario, every enhanced human represents a potential survivor of cosmic catastrophe. Every piece of advanced technology transferred to human control provides capabilities that might prove crucial for species preservation. Every military alliance formed with alien forces creates redundancies that improve survival odds when individual civilizations fall. The evidence suggests we're living through the end of human innocence and the beginning of our conscription into conflicts that began before our species existed. Whether we survive these trials might depend less on our wisdom and development than on our willingness to become weapons in wars we never chose to fight. The cosmic zoo is closing not because we've matured, but because the universe itself has become too dangerous for the luxury of protected observation. The Watchers need soldiers more than they need research subjects. Our graduation ceremony might be a military induction rather than a peaceful welcome into galactic civilization. The choice approaching humanity might be the most profound in our species' history. Accept transformation into enhanced warriors serving causes we don't understand, or maintain our current nature and face extinction by forces that view our independence as an unacceptable threat to galactic security. Time grows short for innocence, for isolation, for the comfortable assumption that the universe operates according to human moral frameworks. The Watchers continue their preparations, but their attention has shifted from documentation to recruitment. The age of observation is ending, replaced by the era of cosmic conscription where survival depends on our willingness to become something far more dangerous than anything Earth has ever produced. The recruitment protocols may have already begun selecting candidates from our population without our knowledge or consent. Intelligence agencies worldwide report unprecedented numbers of missing person cases involving individuals with specific genetic markers, advanced technical skills, or unusual psychological profiles. These disappearances follow patterns that suggest systematic selection rather than random criminal activity. The missing individuals share characteristics that would be valuable for interstellar military operations. Exceptional spatial reasoning abilities, resistance to psychological stress, and genetic variations that correlate with enhanced immune function appear consistently across the disappeared populations. Age demographics cluster around optimal physical conditioning periods, with most subjects between 20 and 40 years old. Recovery efforts consistently fail to locate these individuals despite extensive search operations using the most advanced tracking technologies available. The disappearances occur in locations with no surveillance coverage, during time windows that avoid detection by monitoring systems. The precision suggests access to intelligence about human security protocols that exceeds anything terrestrial organizations could provide. Family members of the disappeared report strange behavioral changes in the weeks preceding the vanishing events. Subjects display increased interest in astronomy, physics, and military history while showing decreased attachment to personal relationships and local community ties. These psychological modifications could represent preparation for separation from Earth-based social connections. Some subjects communicate cryptic messages, suggesting they've been selected for important missions that cannot be disclosed to family members. The messages contain technical terminology and conceptual frameworks that the individuals had no previous exposure to, indicating external knowledge sources beyond normal educational backgrounds. Medical examinations of individuals who briefly returned before disappearing permanently reveal surgical modifications that don't match any known human medical procedures. Implanted devices with unknown functions appear in locations that would provide access to nervous system control and enhanced sensory capabilities. The modifications suggest preparation for environments or activities that exceed normal human operational parameters. These returned subjects display enhanced physical capabilities and altered personality structures that remain stable despite psychological counseling attempts. They demonstrate knowledge of languages and technical procedures they had no opportunity to learn through conventional means. Their behavior suggests loyalty to entities or causes they refuse to identify even under intensive interrogation. The selection process appears to prioritize individuals with minimal social connections and maximum technical utility. Orphans, estranged family members, and socially isolated specialists disappear at rates far exceeding statistical averages. The aliens might be minimizing social disruption while maximizing acquisition of useful human resources. Military recruitment offices report unusual interactions with individuals who possess qualifications that exceed anything in their official records. These candidates demonstrate combat skills, technical knowledge, and strategic thinking capabilities that suggest extensive training in programs that don't exist in any documented military or educational institution. When questioned about their background, these exceptional recruits provide cover stories that check out superficially but contain inconsistencies that become apparent under detailed investigation. Their documented histories show gaps during periods that could accommodate off-world training programs designed to prepare human personnel for cosmic military operations. Physical examinations reveal muscle development patterns and bone density modifications that would result from exposure to gravitational fields different from Earth's environment. Radiation exposure markers suggest prolonged periods in space-based environments with shielding technologies more advanced than anything in human arsenals. These enhanced recruits consistently volunteer for the most dangerous assignments and demonstrate leadership capabilities that exceed their apparent experience levels. They seem particularly interested in space-based operations and advanced technology programs, suggesting specific mission parameters that guide their career choices. Intelligence agencies tracking these individuals discover communication patterns that suggest coordination with external command structures. Encrypted messages using protocols beyond current human cryptographic capabilities indicate ongoing contact with entities that provide mission updates and operational instructions. The messages contain references to deployment timelines and strategic objectives that don't correspond to any known human military operations. Geographic coordinates include locations in deep space that would require interstellar travel capabilities to reach. Mission parameters reference technologies and tactical scenarios that exceed current human warfare capabilities. The evidence is undeniable. Every military encounter, every government disclosure, every child born with inexplicable abilities points to the same terrifying truth. We are not the observers we believed ourselves to be. The cosmic zoo that has contained us for millennia is transforming into something far more sinister. Our watchers are preparing for war, and humanity's graduation ceremony might be a draft notice written in the stars. The age of wondering if we're alone is over. Now we face the ultimate question. When the call to cosmic arms finally comes, will we answer as enhanced warriors ready to fight for survival among the stars, or will we remain behind the invisible barriers, watching helplessly as the universe burns around us?